So this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. Today, of course, we're learning Parshas Achrrei Mos. The big question is what's going on with Nadav and Avihu. How come they got killed? What did they do? What was their sin? Now the Zohar, goes at it lots of different ways. There's lots of different ways to look at it. Today is Diagram Day. And so we're going to be looking at the words of the Uriah Kodesh as brought to us by the Matok and we're going to make diagrams. So please bear with me as I do this. I'm not going to say anything. First, I'm going to just draw the diagrams the best that I can, and then we'll see what happens after that. So what I've drawn here, I can hope you were able to, where I had to hold the paper, you're able to follow this to a certain extent. These are the partsufim of Abba with 10 spheros, and the partsufim of Ima, and I brought them in different colors to give you an idea. Abba's on the right, Ima's on the left in this drawing. Now what we're going to be looking for here is a third drawing. Here comes my famous third drawing that's going to be in the middle. And now this is supposed to be my drawing of a cylinder within a cylinder. Okay, the outside cylinder is the cylinder of Ima. She has 10 spheros. The inside sphero, which is in blue, is Abba, is the sphere called Abba and his 10 spheros. So all of this energy is coming together into one combination of Ima has garmented Abba. Now this is the point that we want to make over here. I want to see if we can understand what the Matok is bringing us, because he's bringing us a very heavy read. Now let me do just one more thing, and let me say that this area up here is called Chachma. This area is going to be Bina. Then you're going to have Das, right? And it goes for both of them. They line up because Ima covers Abba. Abba's hidden inside of Ima. Then you have Chesed. Then you have Gevurah. Then you have Netzach. Let's see how you write it. Netzach. Then you have Hod. And then you have Yesod. I'll leave one out. And let's say the bottom one is Malchus. They line up. That the Bina of Abba is right inside of the Bina of Ima. And all of those things. So this is the drawing. Chochmah on the top, then all the way down to Malchus. They both line up. That is, we put Abba inside of Ima. Now, what the Rab wants to teach us here, as the Matok is bringing us the Holy Acrhrei, is we're going to learn this now. We'll try to see if I can keep it. And I don't know if I can keep it on the same page. Sort of. If I can. Let's see what we can do. This is what the Matok brings us. Let me find a pencil here. Here we go. The Zohar says, the Matok brings the Acrhrei. He says, Kedei lahavein maimer haba, in order to be able to understand the forthcoming piece of Zohar, Nakdi Masha Kasav Rizal, let's come over here and let's read what the Rizal wrote in the Kuti Torah and Parshat Vayikra. He says the Nishmas of Moshe Chosem Mushrashus B'Yisodus the Abba V'Ima. So the going like this, the neshama of Moshe, the neshama of Moshe was mushrash in the Yisod. This is Mo. Okay, we'll call him Mo. Little dot there. Maybe it could be bigger. Mo's over here. There we go. Moshe Rabbeinu. No disrespect intended. And also he's mushrash in the double of both of them. And this is also Mo. Okay, and that means that it's in both of these. This is the Yisod, this is the combined look at it. This is Mo's over here between two of them, in both of them. Okay, now that's what he says about Moshe Rabbeinu. Ki nishmas Moshe choisem mushrashers b'Yisodus the Abba v'Ima. V'nishmas Aharon choisem mushrashers b'Yisod the Abba levad. But Aharon was only mushrash here, in the Yisod of Abba. So this is also Aharon, AA. Okay? That's AA over here. But not AA over here. But not in Ima. He's not mushrash in Ima. Now let's see if we can follow what he's trying to tell me. Nishmas Aharon choisem mushrash b'Yisod the Abba levad. Only in Abba. But Nishmas Elazar v'Itamar. Those are the third and fourth sons. Hoya menetzach and Hod the Abba. So they were also in the same line. In other words, Aharon is only related to the side of Chesed, which is the side of Abba. So therefore, that's how that goes. So the Hod and the Netzach of Abba is going to be where the neshamas of Elazar and Itamar are rooted. So let's put them here. So here's Elazar and here's Itamar. Okay, now I hope you're following a little bit. You can work it over again, but this is an E and an L in case you can't read it. An E and an L. So he says they're located just up above the Yisod where Aharon is. They're just right behind him. The first one is Elazar, and the second one is Itamar, and I think he's going to say that. Yisod the Abba levad. Nishmas Elazar v'Itamar hoya menetzach and Hod the Abba. They were from the Netzach and Hod the Abba. Elazar benetzach. That the older one, which is the number 3 son, was in Netzach, and the number 4 son in Hod, going back upwards. Or let's say, I said it wrong. I said not going back upwards. It's Hod is closer to Yisod in this lineup. But Nadav and Avihu choyim and Netzach and Hod de'ibn. Now Nadav and Avihu, on the other hand, they were from the Netzach and the Hod of Ima. And he's going to say that Nadav was from the Netzach. Let me see if you got that right. Nadav min Netzach, v'Avihu b'Hod. So Nadav would be over here in Netzach. This is Nadav. And Avihu is over here in Hod. But they're only on the left side. They're only on that side. So Aharon's family is over here. If you had the 3 and the 4 sons, but the 1 and the 2 sons are over here on the left side. Now, what's the significance of this? Now, so we have to figure this out. Now, the nai of so the sevehiyosha nai the abba muluveshet b'soch nai the ima. So we are dealing with what he's basically saying is that these I see that he's saying that started with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was pure Yesod on both sides. Aharon is Yesod on the male side. The root of their neshamas on the male side. Nadav and Avihu are on the left side. They're rooted in the Netzach and the Hod of the left side. Remember that Moshe is on that side too. So it's Moshe, Nadav, and Avihu over there. Moshe is also on the right side. So Moshe is combining all things. V'chein Netzach and Hod Abba stumim ma'od ve'ein or yotze mehem klal ela yedei Netzach and Hod de'ima. Now let's take a look at this and see if I can make sense out of this drawing. Because the actual, I just wanted to tell you this is what an Abba looks like and this is what an Ima looks like, but actually the Abba goes inside of the Ima. And when it comes out looking like this. This is Abba in the blue and Ima in the red. Okay? And it comes out like this. That if let me read his words. Let me read his words. His words are, so since you have Abba inside of Ima, basically his idea is going to be, and I'll read it in a minute, it says that whatever oros are inside of here, in order to come out and be a part of Zer Anpin and come into Zer Anpin and help build up Zer Anpin, they have to go through Ima first. There's a wall here, but she's separate from him. Now, in a way, the light of Abba is much more powerful than the light of Ima, and that's the reason why she covers him. This is a very, very, very elusive kind of mentality. We'll try to get into it a little bit more. So he says, L'chein Netzach and Hod Abba. So let's look at the Netzach and Hod of Abba, which are Elazar, that's Elazar and Itamar. Stumim ma'od, stumim, they're completely and totally closed up. Because they're inside, here's the Netzach and Hod of Abba, here they are, Netzach and Hod of Abba, have to shine out this way. But they have to go through the wall of Ima. And Ima's there to protect them. So there's very little light ever escapes, very, very little light ever escapes from those places to come into Zer Anpin. Everything has to come through this way, or else it has to come from Ima, who's on the outside. So let's see if we can understand this. L'chein hanushamas hanimshachas ben Netzach and Hod Abba. That's what we just said. Here's the Netzach and Hod Abba. Inside of the Netzach and Hod of Ima. Heim stumim. They're closed up. V'yesh lechem rak ha'ara mo'etis. They only have a very small amount of light. That's what we said over here. There's very little bit of light comes through from the blue and through the red out into Zer Anpin. Very mo'etis. Masha ein kain Netzach and Hod Ima, which is not the same kain, because the same thing if we say that this is also the same lineup. In other words, the Netzach and Hod of the red, right, is on the outside. And so therefore whatever is in there could bring out a tremendous amount of light. He says that this is the tachlis, the ultimate goal of Nadav and Avihu. That's what he's trying to say, but he hasn't quite said that is that their light should be able to shine where the light of Itamar and Elazar could not, because of the fact they're shielded. This light is not shielded, and as a result of that, it could perform great things. The neshamas hanimshachos ben Netzach and Hod Abba heim stumos. They're closed up. V'yesh lechem rak ha'ara mo'etis. They only have a little bit of light. Masha ein kain Netzach and Hod Ima, which is not this case by the Netzach and Hod of Ima she'em megulim and me'irim, which are revealed and shine. V'chein neshamas hanimshachos mechem. So therefore, the neshamas that come after them, heim gedolos yosef. So therefore, the neshamas here are much greater, because they're shining like crazy, and the other ones are bent down. They can't shine out. These ones are shining out. Netzach and Hod. So Nadav and Avihu hoyu gedolim Elazar v'Itamar. So that's the reason why, because their power was much greater to be able to influence what is happening in the world, because they could bring out a tremendous amount of shefa. So he says, so this is what the Zohar says. Nadav shakol kol achad. The Nadav, who is the Netzach, he's greater than all of the rest of the brothers. That's what it meant, because his light is much greater, because it's the light of the outside. It's a very interesting idea for me. But Avihu shakol Yosem Elazar, then Avihu comes out to be, which is the lower of the two brothers, Nadav and Avihu. He's greater than he's going to be, that you're going to say by Elazar, Itamar. So because, of course, he's on the outside as well. V'im came, that that's the case. V'adai choyel lechem kavanah gedolos b'haktaris hakataris. So this is to tell us that since we understand how great was the light of Kedusha of these two, so it has to be that what they were trying to do is really something much, very, very great, because they themselves were very, very great. So halo noida, because we know like this. Ki kol binyan v'tikun and malchus, all the construction, all the building of malchus, humanai de'ima. Now, just to make a little chart like this, is that normally Zer Anpin, this is, let's see, Zer Anpin, he has a nukva in the back of him, tied to him, like this. They're tied back to back. Normally, the shefa comes into Zer Anpin, and he gives it to the nukva, and she's sustained through different methods of porting the lights from inside of him over to her. But at the time of the Nesira, when they actually, this is the Nai of Ima, and Abba too. Abba's stuming into Sasum inside. So as the lights go into Abba, he's able to Zer Anpin. This is Zah. Let's just write it in English. Zah. He says that since this is Zer Anpin, the lights come out, and they go instead into Ima. And so this is really what builds up the nukva. This is what builds up the nukva. Now, here we're trying to understand what's going on with Nadav and Avihu, right? So this is what's going on in the nukva. We come over here. Let's see a little bit more. So he says again, of a tikkun amalchus hu menai de'ima. The tikkun for malchus came from the netzachod de'ima, which was originally inside of Zer Anpin along with Abba. And now it's not inside of Zer Anpin, it comes out. This is called the Tardema, or the Dormita, and go into the Nukva and build her up. Shemisham choyed neshamas Nadav and Avihu. So he says, because the Nai, the Ima, of course we say, like, what's a Nai? He's a Netzachod Yesod. That's where you find the neshamas of Nadav and Avihu. Now here comes a fact that I don't know, but he's telling me this. Now the nefesh aspect of Nadav and Avihu, Hayim Esod, it came from the secret of the nefesh Tzilus. The nefesh of Adam Harishon was from Olam Hatzilus. So he said the Adam Harishon shekibel mehamalchus, that he received from Malchus, shehi nefesh the klalos Hatzilus. In other words, that this is the nefesh. Nefesh goes along with the concept of Malchus. And so this level of light that comes from the Most High, and right next to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, is inside of Adam Harishon. V'zucha nefesh chata. But this nefesh is the more physical part. That part of Adam Harishon, even though that it came from Atzilus, the sin he made hit there. It affected all the way up. Chata Adam pagam b'malchus of malchus. What happens when you make a pagam in malchus? He said v'hifrida m'bayla. It causes her to become separated from her husband. In other words, the yichud and the tzilus stops, which means that the flow of goodness and bracha that is necessary for this world stops. V'chein Nadav and Avihu. So what is Nadav and Avihu? Let's get them back over here. Come on over here, Nadav and Avihu. So he says the Nadav and Avihu. Shochoyim bebechinas nefesh haroi ala malchus. This is a nefesh that is fit to fit into malchus. There's such a high level. Rattle the Sachna. So therefore they wanted to build up Malchus again, to correct the Pagam. V'laham shechalah mochim, to bring mochin to her, v'lachzir upon him, and allow her to have the nai of Abba ve'ima to come into her again, to be able to build her up to a point where she become independent, and panim b'panim imzer anpen baila. Well, there you go. That's the shir today. It's really pretty much all a diagram shir. I think I understood it better. I could understand the last part a little bit less, because I'm not sure about this that I learned anywhere previously, that the nefesh of Adam Arishon came from Olam Atzilus. All these details I haven't found yet, but I'm still looking. This is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.